Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's workshop. My name is Richard Corliss. I'm here with my best friend here, Antonio Lopez. Today's workshop, we're going to be talking about how to install a glue up shower. Okay, lots of information today, so pay attention. Keep those notes right next to you. Now, before we start, Antonio,
Yeah.
can you explain to our audience today what are the different topics that we're going to be talking about today?
You got it, buddy. Overview. Here's what we're doing is we want to make you feel more confident about taking on this project, but that requires a few things. So think about the considerations about why you would consider a globe shower. And then we're going to dive into how to properly prepare and make sure that these fit correctly. So that's going to be an important step right there, that prep and fit. Last, we'll wrap things up with the installation video of an actual install process.
Yeah.
So that's going to bring up a lot of questions, but I want to start us with the why. And that's with any project as a homeowner, answer that question of why am I doing this? And there might be many reasons. A glue up shower surround has a lot of benefits, and most home projects are going to have two main factors. It's either going to be decided by time
Okay.
or money.
Mm.
All right, so that means why is this a good consideration? Well, when you're looking about time, it saves time because this can be a quicker and easier option to refresh a space that might be outdated. Or maybe there's an existing problem that needs to be repaired, and this may satisfy that a little easier than alternative options. It can be installed in as little as just over a day. It's about an intermediate level project, so it's not too advanced. And with the right tools, planning, and patience, this is actually one of those that are really doable, and that's not usually the case with a bathroom project.
Not really, no.
Yeah. También, also we can save some money. All right. This offers a lot of great value. There's a lot of different options. All right. When you go on HomeDepot.com, you'll see really high end materials, so the cost will be higher to more budget friendly options. But the reality is, this can save you money, and then you can use those savings towards other projects or maybe higher end materials for another aspect of your bathroom.
Sort of like if I want a nicer vanity,
Yep.
like a quartz top double sink vanity,
There you go.
I can save up for that because the bathroom or there's
Yep.
glue up showers save me some money there.
Right. Yeah. So you can
Awesome.
help out a guest bathroom, but then your master bathroom, you and your wife can be all happy with that double sink
I
vanity.
like that.
So a lot of savings and money, and it also helps because this is a very customizable type of layout. Think of if you have a unique layout or a really weird kind of awkward space. This can work a little easier for almost any space. And there's a lot of different aesthetic styles, so different finishes and different panels, different features like shelving. So for soap, for shampoo, for razors, all that stuff is a possibility as well. Look, this bathroom photo right here shows you a corner shower, but there are more options out there, aren't there, Richard?
That's correct. Yes. So nowadays you have plenty of different options, just like Antonio's mentioning, right? So depending on your bathroom layout,
Mhm.
this is the most important part. Verify how your layout is in your bathroom. This is going to help you decide what options you can get. So let's talk about those options. You have three main options, right? You have your alcove, right? So what's an alcove? An alcove is basically a recess in your wall, right? So that means it's got two sides and a back panel. That's an alcove. When we're talking about alcoves, you can have two types in there.
Mhm.
You can have a tub and you can have a shower base style
Got it.
shower, right? So you got those two types that fit inside of an alcove. And you have your corner, just like the one we had previously in the photo. Those are your main types that you're going to be finding in our stores and you're going to be able to purchase depending on your layout, right? Now, each one of these different styles, the alcove or the corner, is going to come either in a three-piece kit or in a five-piece kit. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what's the difference? So, the difference between the three-piece and the five-piece, three-piece, just like it says, you're going to have two side panels and one in the back. There's your three-piece. The five-piece is going to be your two side panels, one in the back, and most of the time, two corner panels, right? That's where you're going to have your soap, right? You can hold your soap or your hair products, etc.,
Yeah, I know about
etc.
that. Gotta have
Totally.
my shampoo and my hair products were
They're working great.
maintained.
They're working great. So,
Yeah.
okay, so And apart from that, your 3-piece is going to involve less cutting, while your 5-piece is going to involve a bit more cutting, right? And it's going to let you customize a little bit more the 5-piece. That's all it is. But take into consideration what your needs are and what your bathroom layout is like. That's the most important part.
Yeah, it's really great. Great information to help with these considerations.
Mhm.
And I think this is really helping us start to prepare for this project. So that means we've got a couple things now. We're looking at preparing the space, but also make sure that everything fits correctly.
Yeah.
Based on whatever panels you choose, whether it's 3, 5, or less or more.
Yeah.
But before any project, we always recommend a couple things. Is you want to wear protective equipment, so things like protective goggles, even if
Yes.
you have glasses, protect your eyes, protect your hands, but also protect the space. You don't want that bathtub or the shower pan getting chipped or nicked. And also recommend turning off the water supply line for that space that you're working in.
Yeah. So when we talk about those water lines that you were just saying, Antonio, you should have two, right, in your house. Sometimes there's only one. If you have to turn off the main water line, then remember you're going to affect everyone in the house. So let's plan it out.
Part of that consideration.
Correct. But if you have an individual shut off that only turns off that specific bathroom, then you're golden.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point. Good point there. So for all of you out there, if you have one bathroom, even though it's a quicker project, plan and communicate so you don't get on the other side or on that side with everyone else in the house. All right. A couple things that you might need to do if you are in this project, you might need to remove any existing maybe an existing surround that's there.
Mhm.
That might be part of the project. So while you're protecting your tub, your shower pan, all of that, just keep it in consideration. You're also going to need to remove any hardware that is there. So shower curtain, shower rod, that means the shower handle, the little Trumpet scutcheon plate that covers the shower handle, the tub spout, everything has to come out.
That's right.
All right, because this is part of the process. You also need to be aware if you're out there and you see like water damage and you're like, I got to replace whatever that substrate is. So you may need to cut into the drywall. And if you do, it's recommended to install a cement backer board. Just a great way to give you a nice solid structure. But if you do see signs of water damage and you're like, Antonio, Richard, I'm a little overwhelmed here, it's a little scary. This is where it might be better just to kind of connect with a pro. And Home Depot can help with that. Just gives you a little peace of mind. And that's just one of those areas that can be very intimidating, and rightly so when it comes to water damage. Um, Overall, let's say ideal conditions. If you've got good drywall, it's painted, it can go over that surface. Just got to scuff it up with some sandpaper for the install. But also, if you don't have that, you're going to want to put it on a moisture resistant type of drywall, that green board.
Green board. Yeah, that's right.
The green for a reason. It's there to help combat some of that moisture. So what we got: cement backer board, moisture resistant drywall. Those are the ideal substrates for this project. All right. Overall, regardless of what you're doing, you want to make sure you clean up the area correctly. So taking away any dust, because once we get this installed, there can't be anything there that's going to prevent the adhesion or the bond with this globe shower surround.
Okay. Interesting.
Very interesting stuff. What's interesting is you got to be on the mark with how you're setting up this space. And what I mean by that is planning this shower requires you marking a really accurate outline of where those panels are getting installed. So one of the first things that you'll have to do is get something like a nice straight edge from your level. And you want to ensure that there's a level and straight plumb line for the exterior of where that panel is going. What I mean by that is if you have a tub, the end of that tub, you've got to make sure that you're marking a straight line vertically. It has to be plumb.
Correct.
And that's giving you the furthest point of where that shower panel is going to go or end.
Got
It
it.
can't go further than that.
It's like coloring. You want to be inside of the
Absolutely.
lines.
And because we're painting by numbers, we're staying within the lines. You're going to continue those outline marks, and now you're going to start making lines on the horizontal part at the top of the wall. So that means the height of that shower panel. All right, that's where we're kind of giving our outline in the top. So we have an alcove. You've got 3 walls. You're making 3 lines horizontally, showing where the top of that shower panel is going to be installed.
Okay, so basically, if my shower panel is
Mhm.
53 inches tall,
Yep.
my line needs to be 53 inches tall. It can't
Correct.
be any taller
Can't go.
because your panels are not that tall.
Exactly. So we got to keep that in consideration. especially when you start thinking about if you need to make any cuts or adjustments. So once you make all of those lines, you've got your outline for where your panels are supposed to go. And that means there's another step now because we've made that outline. So, Richard, what's that next step?
All right. So after we've removed the existing surrounding, we created our line.
Right.
It's nice and leveled. You verified with your level. Okay. Now the next steps are to start to make a dry fit, right? What do we mean by this? So you're going to take your panels and you're going to dry fit them to the wall.
Mhm.
And you're going to hold them there with masking tape or painter's tape. Here we have an example. Okay, so what you also want to do is once you start laying them on the wall and you have them taped up, make sure to leave at least a 1/8 inch or quarter-inch space on the bottom.
Yeah,
Okay,
that can vary based on manufacturing
correct.
instructions.
Look at your manufacturing instructions, but this is gonna it might vary. The reason why we're doing this because later on we're gonna be caulking that area or sealing that area, and you want that area to flex. Because remember, it's a tub or shower base. Our weight or the water weight will flex it a little bit. So just leave that little bit of space and you're set to go. Now, you should start with the back panel. Once the back panel or the center panel is nicely leveled and it's nicely put on the wall with the masking tape, then you can start with your side panels as well. Okay. Now, if it's a 5 piece,
Mhm.
right? Remember, 3 and 5 pieces. If it's a 5 piece, the last ones you are going to install or dry fit are going to be the corner inserts,
That's the
right?
last part.
That's the last part. So you start in the back, go on the sides, and if it's a 5 piece, that's where you're going to put in your corner inserts. Remember, this is just a dry fit. You want to see what's going on, right? Now, take your time with your dry fit. This is really important because depending on your dry fit, how you see the level goes, okay, in your shower, you're going to have to trim that unlevelness if there is any, but you have to do it sparingly,
A
okay?
little goes a long way at this point because if you go too far, you can't reverse that. That means you're buying another panel.
You're buying another panel. That's correct. So you're better off going with precaution here and going off and just shaving a little bit at a time. Take that measurement again, just a little bit more, and there you go until you get to where you need to. Okay. Now, after you've measured and your shower and your everything's marked, where the panels need to be trimmed, now it's time to make the cuts.
Okay. So the next step now is making those cuts and trims.
Correct. So after you remove the panels again, you can use either a jigsaw or a utility knife to make these cuts, right? And it really depends on the thickness of the material. Some material you might just be able to cut it with a utility knife, right? But other materials are a little bit thicker and you're probably going to need a jigsaw for that, okay? This will ensure that the cuts are they're clean, right? They're clean cuts, right? Now, apart from those cuts, you're also going to have to drill holes. So you're going to have to drill holes for your shower spout, your shower valve, and possibly the shower head, right? That's on the top part, which in this case, you're going to be using a hole saw attachment. It's the white piece that you see at the end of the drill. So if you got a drill, you're good to go. You can go ahead and purchase a hole saw kit directly through Home Depot. There's various sizes. Look for the correct size that the manufacturer is requiring and go ahead and use that to drill out those holes, okay? And again, the focus here is to cut sparingly,
Yeah,
okay?
go a little.
Little by little. You don't want to cut too much because just like Antonio said, then after that, then you're gonna have to buy
Rich,
another panel.
Richard, you talked about an important part, those handles, those different cuts that you're making.
Yeah.
Measuring is really important.
So
Let's show the customers
let's do that.
how to measure so that you're on the mark. And that means when you've got your shower panel, this is part of that dry fit that try to start preparing for it. So this is a product that we purchased of a glue up shower for a tub, and we taped up the panel on the wall. So Richard, walk me through if I've got a tub spout, show me exactly of how I'm making those measurements.
Sure. So here's a little bit of a mock-up, right? Here you have your tub spout. This is an example. Tub spout, you got your water valve, and then more on the top, you probably have a shower spout as well. So this is where we're gonna do. We're gonna do two measurements. We're gonna measure from the bottom up, And from the edge of the tub, remember that plumb line that Antonio was talking about? It's going to be from that line, that plumb line, inwards. Okay. That's going to let you know where you're going to have to mark it, or the X marks the spot, so you can make those hole saw cuts that we're talking about. So you're going to go from bottom up. You're going to drop it all the way to the edge of your shower tub, that ledge that you have right there, and measure up and take that exact measurement at the middle of the valve. Okay. Not on the top, not on the bottom, on the middle of the valve. And you're going to record that measurement. Now, the next one, same thing, but now you're going to go from that plumb line in. Same thing here, right in the middle of that valve, all the way to that plumb line. And you're going to record that measurement. Now, I want to give you a bit of a pro tip here. You're probably saying, wow, Richard, so if I cut this and I make a mistake, I lose the panel, right? Well, here's the pro tip. Go ahead and grab the cardboard that your shower kit came in. Use this as a template. Go ahead with that recorded measurements that you have. You can go ahead and mark them. Let's say, right? This was your tub spout, and you recorded the measurements, 16 by 15, right? That was one measurement. And then the other measurement that was from bottom up, again, it was, let's just invent numbers here, 14 by 15, something like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to transfer these measurements into the cardboard box. You're going to drill out that hole, okay, with the hole saw as a practice. And then you lay this on the shower, inside the shower where the valves are. Once you get it perfect and you're saying, I got this, this is exactly what I need, transfer this template to your panel and then just drill out the holes, okay? And that's pretty much it. You'll have exact holes where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, that's great stuff, Richard. I think just taking your time is a really best practice. Using that template, the cardboard, it gives you that space, that practice, so you don't mess up the final cuts. Because the reality is, once you've done all that, that means you're ready to keep moving on with the project. You've made all your cuts and all your measurements. So now you've got to go for a final dry fit.
Yeah.
That means you've made all the cuts and everything should work out well. Before you even do that final dry fit, Richard, that template you talked about, that's
Yeah.
great. And you cut that out, dry fit that to make sure again that you're feeling confident that you're getting everything spot on.
Listen, so measure, measure, measure.
I know,
Okay,
yeah.
that's how it's called.
That's it.
Right. Okay. So remember, there's going to be two dry fits here. There's going to be the
Perfect.
dry fit without cutting. You're just noticing how everything lines up, right? And what you need to trim. After you have trimmed and you have cut out the shower valve or the shower spout holes, then comes the second dry fit, which Antonio's talking about now, and you can see in the presentation.
Exactly. And hopefully this project is moving along at this point. But we're going to take a pause here because there are some common customer questions that we get when it comes to installing a glue up shower surround. And that first one is kind of going back. If I'm making that measurement
Mhm.
and I'm checking it to see if things are level,
Yeah.
customer sees that, oh, Richard, my tub or my shower pan's just a little bit off, just a little bit off.
Yeah.
Any tips to address
Okay.
if something is unlevel?
So in most cases, your shower tub will be leveled, right? But you never know.
Right.
Might happen. It's a little bit unleveled. Now, remember, there should be a tolerance for this. If it's way too out of level, right? Over half an inch or something like that, let's get that fixed. It's something else. But if it's very, very small, that it's unleveled, here's the tip. You remember that cardboard that we just looked at? You're going to use another piece of cardboard, right? And you remember that line, the top line that Antonio was talking about, that horizontal line across the whole alcove? You're going to go ahead, take your template, right? You're going to cut it out just like it was one of the panels, and you're going to lay it on the tub, right? Obviously, if it's off level, you're going to see it's a little bit, it's a little bit wanky, right? So it's a little bit to the side. You're okay. You're on top of that. Remember that line? That's your guide line.
Yeah, so you want to match it up to that.
Exactly.
Then, but if you are making any cuts, I know like on the instructions it says to cut on the bottom,
Mhm.
just to keep in mind because you don't want to see anything, all wonky on top, like you said.
Sure.
But
But we can do with it. But
Yeah.
here's what you're gonna do. Template on the wall. You have your line. You can see it. You can take your level, right? And you're gonna draw on top.
it's a straight edge.
Use it as a straight edge. keep going with that line crossing through your cardboard, right? So you're making that imaginary line. You're creating it on your cardboard. You got it. You cut your cardboard. You transfer these same measurements onto your panel.
Yeah, so that's one helpful approach to just keep using the cardboard, repurpose it,
Repurpose it for sure.
more forgiving. Great
Excellent.
stuff there. That's a great tip.
Now, Antonio, I have a question for you.
Nina, what's up?
So, for this type of project, we're talking about a lot of different things, right?
Yes.
Do customers need to buy, a lot of tools or power tools for this type of project?
Sure. And it might vary based on the panel that you get. So the
Okay.
first thing is as you're choosing, you're looking at the considerations, read the installation guide or the manufacturer instructions. You can get that online, read through it and see what they recommend as must have or nice to have. Most of the time, things like power tools like a jigsaw or even like a power drill, these might be
Okay.
nice to haves. They can make the project a lot easier to do. But your panels, like cutting, for instance, might be simply done with something like a utility knife. If you're using a utility knife and it's a thinner material, just cut away from your body. That's a safety tip. If you're using scissors, try to get the sturdiest pair. There are aviator snips that are really strong, and then they'll do a really great job of getting a good cut. So those are options, again, based on what you purchase. If your material is thicker and we're using that jigsaw,
Yeah.
one little tip, and we talked about this,
Okay.
blades matter.
Oh,
So
that's
make
right.
sure that you have a blade that's a fine tooth blade and that it is labeled for the material you're cutting with. Right? It'll all be clearly stated there. So it can depend. It can add to what you're purchasing, but then you can use this stuff for other projects too.
So that fine tooth blade is going to give you a finer
A
cut,
cleaner cut.
a cleaner cut.
So now you're not spending as much time of using sandpaper to kind of get that all smoothed out.
Got it.
So good news is sandpaper can fix a lot of stuff, but again, save time, save money. Might want to get the right tools for that. But it's all based off of what the manufacturer instructions say. So use that as your guide.
Yeah, these are all great questions, and I hope this helps for you guys as well.
Yeah.
But we still got more work to do.
We do, that's true. So, we're moving along with this project. We're now ready for the install. And what better way to show you out there than by playing a recorded video that demonstrates an actual installation. So here we go. After dry fitting the panels, remove them to begin the installation. Using a caulking gun, apply adhesive to the back wall in a zigzag pattern. We recommend working quickly to prevent the adhesive from drying out. Apply adhesive one area at a time, and starting with the back panel, place it on top of the shims while aligning the top with the markings on the wall. Use a roller to apply a lot of pressure, and then follow up with a clean rag. Using the roller will ensure proper adhesion. Repeat this process for each panel, rolling in every direction over the entire surface of the panel. Then, remove the protective film. When installing the corner pieces, make sure to add additional adhesive to the edges of the panel and press down firmly. Tape the edges and allow the adhesive to cure for 24 hours. The next day, apply the manufacturer's recommended sealant on all seams, including the top, bottom, and outside edges of the panels. You can run your finger to smooth out the sealant and wipe any excess with a clean rag. Once the sealant has fully cured, go ahead and reinstall the shower handle, trim kit, tub spout, and the shower head. Your project is now complete, and you can enjoy your newly installed glue-up shower surround.
Hey, Antonio, that was a great video. It really did show details needed throughout this process. Now, I do have some questions from you that we get a lot from our audience. Is it okay we take some time for that?
Yeah, we got time. So
Awesome.
yeah,
So, can a customer use any type of adhesive during this process?
yeah, and that's a great question. The simple answer is no.
No.
You can't just use any adhesive. There's a lot of options out there, but this is where you want to circle back, look at that manufacturer's installation guide,
Okay.
and see what they want. So for this install, it might be labeled specifically on that bottle that says tub surround or shower surround. But find the right one. Then make sure you buy the right amount. You're going to need probably about
Yeah.
12 of these. So a case is most likely going to be in that shopping cart. And then when you're applying it,
Mm-hmm.
you're also going to read in that manufacturer installation guide to use a tool. They mentioned
Mm.
peanut straw.
Okay.
The reason why is this is going to help evenly spread all of that adhesive. Once everything is installed, that gives it a nice even spread, so no lumps and bumps are going to kind of poke through.
Got it.
It's going to look nice at that end result.
Yeah.
And you also saw when they used that tool of the J roller. This is a specific tool, so yeah, we're going to recommend best practice. This is really really great to press down on those panels, and again, it makes that even spread, and it ensures that there's a tight bond with that correct adhesive.
Yes.
If you don't want to purchase this, you can get away with some alternative options. Might be able to press down with a towel on your hands. Might not be the best job, but again, you can do that.
Okay.
Or you could use something like a rubber grout float.
Yeah. Okay.
My only tip with this is if you're going to press down with this, make sure that the surface of that float is nice and clean,
Sure.
free of any debris. Last thing you want to do is scuff up the panel, even though we're still leaving the protective film on that
Yeah.
shower panel.
Yeah. Leave it there. Leave it
Right?
there.
Because once you're done with everything and it's cured properly, so probably like the next day, once you're ready to use that shower, you can pull off that protective film.
Sure. You're probably going to be pulling off the corners of the protective film
Yeah.
throughout the process because remember, that's where you're going to be using the masking tape
Right.
to put it up and everything like that. But once everything is done,
Yeah.
then you can remove
to the
the
very
full
end.
film.
Yeah, that's just to protect yourself.
Awesome.
But based off of that question, I'm gonna flip it right back to you because if I can't use any type of adhesive, what about those sealants? Can I use any type of sealant?
Well, exactly like Antonio said, you have to look at what the manufacturer is recommending for that specific install.
Mhm.
So there are a bunch of different sealants that you can use. For instance, this one is the advanced siliconized sealant. They come in a white color, they come in transparent color, okay? But the one that we were using, or the Delta version of the glue up shower, it's asking for this type of sealant. This one is the advanced modified polymer sealant, all right? Now, it doesn't matter which sealant you're using or which adhesive you're using. If it's in this tube form, you're going to need a caulking gun,
Yeah.
right? This isn't a inexpensive version. They have some that are even battery powered. Those are really great. That's on my wish list. But really simple. Grab the tube, put it inside the gun, and using this handle, that's going to help you spread the sealant around the areas, okay? Super simple.
Yeah. So again, recapping, you gotta use the right type of adhesive, the right type of sealant. That caulking gun is just a way to apply it evenly.
Mhm.
It just makes life easier.
Yeah.
So great tips to recircle back there. So I think this is a good time just to kind of recap really quick all the content that we covered because there's a lot of material. But hopefully, after talking about those considerations, you feel a little better suited on the reasons why you would consider this and the choice to make when think about all those styles and options. And then once you're in that project mode, well, planning, prepping, and making sure that everything fits
Yep.
correctly. All right, that's really important because that final step, that video that we showed you, the installation process, it's doable, but you got to take all of that into that project implementation process to get it done and get it done right.
Awesome.
That's why we hope that this helped you with this project. And we do want to remind you, don't forget, we've got a resource guide. Download it. It has a lot of links that helps you so you can continue having support outside of this workshop in addition to emailing us. So if you want to reach out to Richard and myself, you can email us at workshopslive@homedepot.com. Love answering your questions. Richard, I think we're all done, right?
Not yet.
What are we forgetting?
You're missing the most important part.
But okay.
Saying thank you. So everyone that joined us in this workshop today, all right? We appreciate you being here. And from my part, and from the rest, and Antonio's part, and from the rest of the Workshop Live team, thank you.
Gracias. Adios.